Brian Steele, Briansteel.
And I'm Keith Adams, Keithadams.
And talk us through the decision to do a plea and all right, if you don't mind talking us through the decision to make a plea and just how today ended up going and transpiring.
Well, this was excruciating because hopefully, in our collective opinion, Jeffrey would have been found not guilty of everything. So this is very painful. But that's another 3 months or so in custody. And he wants to go home to his family. And negotiations totally broke down with the district attorney's office. Horribly broke down. And at that point, we believe that justice would be found with the honorable court. And Jeffrey just wanted to go home. How agonizing it is to know that we've spent a year trying a case where the prosecutors have put on lies, knowing lies, hiding evidence is insane in 2024 in the United States of America. And the only reason that this got revealed is because of you people. You people brought the truth to the community because nobody knows this. This is not the only courtroom it's happening in. And I just want to thank all of you. I especially want to thank Jeffrey for letting me represent him. I think he's a wonderful person who does wonderful things and will continue to do things even greater. I cannot express to you how Shaquille Kokomo, how Trisha Renard, how Haley, how my wife Colette, how Bram, how countless people, but especially Miss Courtney Edwards, has worked without sleep for 3 years representing Jeffrey and helping him. I will never be able to stand with anyone more ethical, honest, hardworking, insightful, intelligent, and kind than the Honorable Keith Adams. The gentleman to my left is the best lawyer in the country.
Mr. Steele, do you think prosecutors negotiated in good faith at all during any of these negotiations?
Let me take this one. Let me answer that. The short answer is no. This is a case that possibly could have been resolved if folks were reasonable. But we did not believe that we could enter into good faith negotiations with people who wanted a case resolved in a manner simply to save face. And Jeffrey Williams was not going to say things that they wrote for him, that they wanted him to say, that was their theory when it wasn't true. And so, good faith, no. I don't believe we were ever really negotiating in good faith. And you've been here the past year that this case has been on trial. You've seen the numerous motions for mistrial. You've seen the behavior of the state. You've seen the dishonesty. You've seen everything being hidden. You've seen things come out in court, in front of you. And so you know what kind of prosecution we were dealing with. And that's okay. You know, Mr. Steele and I have fought through this the past 2.5 years. And as he said, we ultimately decided we were going to put our faith in the court as opposed to the folks on the other side of the aisle. And, you know, the best thing out of all of this is that Jeffrey Williams, in a very short period of time, will be home. And that's all we've wanted from May 9th when they went and picked him up and have held him in jail without a bond for the past 2.5 years. He'll be home shortly.
What is good with it, y'all? It's Coffee tapping back in, man. And Brian Steele, you seen him in his right hand, man, addressing the media after the final outcome in the Young Thug case. And I want to know from everyone out there, you know, some time has passed now. Thug is on his probation. We didn't know off top if it was going to be a cold setup. You know what I mean? The legal analysts were all looking at that like, yo, if they really want to bust Thug's balls, pause. There's a lot of ways that they could violate him on some petty-ish, and he could, you know, quite possibly get hit with a heavy prison sentence. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a very backloaded plea. It's kind of a preposterous plea bargain in a way. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, it's so wild. We seen them other dudes get the not guilty verdicts. You know, like, I just never understood why Thugger took it that far only to cop a plea, man. But you heard Brian Steele when he addressed the media, right? Like, yo, you know what I'm saying? First off, he exposed the corruption, the goofball Ish. Took 3 judges to get Ish moving right, and there still was a lot of problems and everything. And at the end of the day, you know, comment if you think that that was the right move, and if you think Thugger would have indeed came home with a not guilty verdict as well. I feel like he would have, and I feel like if he was convicted, there was just an overwhelming grounds for appeals, like that he would have walked free. But he let it be known, man, you know, you people out there, you helped push the Bull-ish to the forefront for the whole world to see the goofy games that they were playing, man. And yo, I haven't heard nothing from Fannie, right? Since it all broke down and didn't work out the way, and all that time and taxpayer money and just all the 3-ring circus is what I call that Rico case. I still, I'm an individual that didn't know that there was Rico statutes on a state level. There's a couple states out there, Georgia being one of them. I forget the other ones that have that. And I don't know. I think that that should strictly be a federal thing, because we saw the way that they came forth from a state level. It was a joke, man. It was just flat out joke. But still let it be known, this was painful. We did not want to see Jeffrey behind bars anymore. Yo, comment another rapper, just like a bonus trivia jump off, you know, named Jeffrey. I'm just curious to see if a lot of y'all will tap in with the same rapper as me. That comes to mind for me when I think of rappers named Jeffrey. And then the way, what was his name, Keith stepped in, he said, let me take this one, you know, and he really put it all out there, man. But shout out to Brian Steele. If you guys recall, when Thug first got hit with the case, they were trying to play all kinds of games to get him off the case, filing motions and everything like that. You know, they were playing dirty, and I can't believe none of the motions to dismiss the case or mistrial, like none of it happened. None of it went through. When that 3rd judge got on, I thought that we were this close. But Brian Steele fought hard for young Thug, man. And as you see after this, I don't know if y'all see, they kept a close rapport. And, you know, as Brian Steele was talking to possibly the future attorneys of America, you know, a class, a school, Thugger was a part of that as well.
A situation that was taunting towards my life, and I think that the justice system could be very bad at sometimes. You know, sometimes it can be bad, and you gotta always look at it like they're there to put us in prison, and you guys are here to keep us from prison. And Brian Steele is the best person possible. He's very pedagogical, and he should be a professor. I think you guys should become lawyers. I think it's very important to help people out of the situations they're in, especially best you can. I mean, what side you want to be on? You want to put people in prison for mistakes, because everybody makes mistakes, like human. You know, and everybody on this phone, everybody in this classroom, you always need to know that you're one mistake away. And I feel like we need more people like Brian Steele on this earth, and less people like that. So I think it's very, very, very important to become lawyers. I think it's very, very important to be a lawyer over any other thing. You know, lawyers and doctors are the 2 greatest things that were ever founded. You know, like, you actually help people, and I think that's God work. That's doing the real God work. I think everyone of you in that platform should become lawyers for sure. Anything you need from me, I'm here always. We need y'all.
Interesting words from Young Thug, right? Lawyers and doctors are the 2 most important individuals out there, right? Like, the cycle of the justice system, people getting thrown in prison, people who fight to free people from prison. Everyone's just quite possibly one mistake away. Or in some situations, man, when things get political or there's other messy games going on, it could not even be a full out mistake. You know, we've seen people get railroaded and whatnot, you know what I mean? And there's a lot of flucked up attorneys out there on some bullish, but to me, man, Brian Steele seems like a solid, good dude. And it's cool to see him and Thugger, you know, working together after all this, right? You know, speaking to the class, he said, man, this man should be a professor. And Thugger said, you got to pick which side you want to be on. You know, it's so wild with lawyers, man. I could never be an attorney, like fighting to free someone, a criminal defense attorney who is like a real foul sack of ish. You know what I'm saying? Like a wicked demon or nothing. I couldn't be no parts of that. You know what I mean? But back to what we're talking about here. Brian Steele is becoming, dude. I'd say that everyone, again, let me know your thoughts and just about everything we touch on this one. Make sure to subscribe, hit the comments. You know what I mean? It's all about hearing from y'all, the people with that good coffee talk. And make sure you tune into the lives where you can tap in and we can talk it up on different topics and whatnot. But what brings all this back to the forefront, what we're speaking of here, right? As we know, Drake trying to make this comeback and recover from just taking L upon L upon L. You know, he's been killed 3 times over, and he, you know, recently let everyone know he's still alive, right? He's in Australia on tour, looking goofy, posting pictures of coconut waters, having mullet man moments, pause, that were just really offsetting and weird and everything like that. And, you know, it's like Drake, you can see it all over him. It's written all over him. He's lost in the sauce. This L is affecting him on a mental level. He needs to get back in his head. How can he do it? You know, but like I keep pointing out, it ain't even have to go like that, Drake. You know what I'm saying? You could have kept doing your pop bubblegum-ish, and there's nothing wrong with that with a pop artist. You are just not an MC like Kendrick is. You're not on that level. You know, there's nothing wrong with what Drake does, but he just doesn't do and can't do what Kendrick does. But with all that being said, Valentine's Day is here. You know what I'm saying? And one part of, I guess, his attempted comeback is this Party Next Door collab album that was supposed to come a couple years ago, and we're just getting it now. And then he let the fans know when he announced that the Party Next Door collab album was coming out, that he also was going to have a one-on-one conversation with the fans when the time is right, a new solo project, and he's still alive and everything. Like, Drake's really trying hard to convince everyone, including himself. You know what I'm saying? But the Party Next Store collab joint this year is called Some Sexy Songs for You, pause. Comment and let me know if you listen to it, if you rock with it or whatever. But one of the songs on there was named after Brian Steele, seemingly to honor Brian Steele. And it's kind of wild with the track list on this new project. Originally they spelled the man's name wrong, but then they updated it and got it right. But Brian Steele had a couple things to say about this. People, y'all, Mr. Steele, pause, right? He took the social network to say, thank you for the below, Mr. Journalist, who, you know, tapped in and put out an article in regards to all this, what we're talking about with Drake and Party Next Door, naming the track after him, seemingly to honor him. I was unaware of same. Thank you for sharing. I have had the honor and pleasure of meeting Mr. Graham, aka Aubrey, right? AKA Drake, AKA the walking L machine right now for the past year or so or whatever, you know? Like, let's not front. I ain't just trying to get on here and ish on Drake, but Kendrick's whole situation was a movement, and it just went to the mountaintop, and it's powerful. It's real art, you heard? He is so kind, considerate, generous, inspirational, intelligent, a true leader, and great model for our community. So Mr. Steele showing some love, right? And then updated, Drake and Co fixed the spelling of Steele, and the real Brian Steele followed up with me. I want no attention. I truly want our community to stop suffocating people in the attempt to stop advancement of ideas, inventions, cultures, freedom, and all. So with that being said, you see people reacting to it, and it's wild, man. Someone on here said, yo, Brian Steele is a GAY corn star. I don't think that's true. I think that's just someone with the same name, man. I don't know nothing about that world, you heard? But pause. Throw some pauses out there with that. But someone else says, who is having a worse week, Drake or JD Vance? Gonna have to introduce yourself as, I'm Mr. Journalist at the New York Times. Next episode. To each their own. That's like myself naming a song Top Dog. Thank you, Mr. Journalist. Someone's laughing. Come on, Steele. I know you looked up everything on Drake, good and bad. Understand it's your client. But you know, if you done your research, you know that's not true. Drake threw the first hard punch, and all Kendrick did is not only punch him back, but demolished him. What's it say? Merch the fuck out, laugh my ass off. I don't know. So, what do you guys think about that? Drake and Party Next Door naming the track after Brian Steele. Brian Steele as an attorney, him and Thugger, the trial, the plea bargain, the otherwise sell artists coming home on them not guilty verdicts again. The one dude was only convicted of a gun possession, which he ended up getting time served. It wasn't part of the Rico indictment. When they picked him up, he had a strap on him, you know what I mean? So he came right home, time served. It was so wild too. The one dude, he was fucking waiting for the verdict and got poked up, man. And I think he had got poked up like a year ago as well. It's fucking crazy out here. But as far as Drake trying to come back and everything, man, I wanted to share this little piece with y'all about this Party Next Door collab project and everything. And again, everyone, if you listen to it, like, tap in with your thoughts. Let's talk about it all.
Drake elimination, fake intimidation. Take a minute, take a deep breath, have a little bit of patience.
Drake is back and he's shy about his beef with Kendrick Lamar. He dropped a brand new album with Party Next Door, and we're breaking it all down in this week's Music You Should Know, some sexy songs for you.
The sea tide where it's red tonight, just like the I sent you from the bed tonight.
Happy Valentine's from Drake and Party Next Door as they gift you with 21 new tracks on some sexy songs for you. And Drake's ready to move on from the drama, saying, a rap beef, I'm trying to get the party lit.
They be dropping shit, but we be dropping harder shit. For beef, I'm trying to get the party lit.
And after Kendrick performed his Drake diss track, Not Like Us, on the world's biggest stage, Drake went in even more on the new album.
These just Nemo in the ocean, small fish making kids feel emotion. You for promotion, true words have never been spoken.
The Party Next Door collab album is mostly featureless outside of them bringing on Yeba, Chino Pacas, and Pim.
Spending time with people that don't respect the love we got here. You got me.
There is a lot to unpack. Is this Drake's big comeback?
All right, man. So there you have it there. They highlighted some of the tracks, not really any features like that. A couple minor features. Drake trying to get in comeback mode. And again, like I keep pointing out, I don't think like this is going to be the end of Drake. He will still have his fan base. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's wild when you see in the debates that the Drake stands just won't let it be known that, you know, their sixth god took 6 L's. You heard? You know, like, it is what it is. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with what Drake does. He's just not the artist that Kendrick is. And the fact for him to even fluck around and try and act like, I just never understood that about Drake. Like, yo, you're very successful, you do what you do and all that, but you just want to have this title and this respect within true MCs that just, like, you're not it. You're not that guy, you know what I mean? But I will say, like I've been pointing it out, you can see it's affecting Drake by the bullish he's doing online. Like, that's wild too. I didn't know this man's got Finsta account. Did you guys see that the other day? Joe Budden went off on him. He posted some old weird video with Joe Budden. Joe was like, yo, Drake, you're not hot like that no more. Pause. Right? Like you're ice cold, B. I'm not gonna sit here and go like when you were doing your thing, it was fun. It made sense. It don't make sense no more to go back and forth with quote unquote The Walking Dead, you zombie in the flesh ass goof. And then on his other Finsta, he kept posting pics of T Wayne, right? Wheezy and T-Pain. Remember when they were dropping all that heat, man? They had one joint. Comment anyone out there if you ever heard it. It had, the Q-tip is such a vibrant thing. Boom, boom, vibrant thing, a vibrant thing. That whole Violator album, all that was cold fire, right? That don't make sense, cold fire. It was heat. It was dope. You know what I'm saying? You had My Sign on there before you went away. My Sign with the Black Palm, Noriega, Mobb Deep. The list goes on and on. Violator. Volume 1 and 2. R.I.P. Chris Lighty. Talk about a suspicious death. Ooh-wee. Something didn't feel right there. And that's so wild. His death was the catalyst for 50 Cent and Fat Joe to squash their beef. Right? Two beefs we know he will never squash is Rick Ross and Murder Inc. Ja Rule. And for those in the beginning, I don't know if you commented it yet already or not, when I was talking about another rapper for bonus trivia points named Jeffrey. The one I was thinking of was Ja Rule, Jeffrey Atkins. That's it. The J, the A, the R-U-L-A is Jeffrey Atkins. Rule. He's going to rule the game and all that, Someone else who had a nice run, man, but got knocked off and bodied by 50 Cent, G-Unit. G-Unit, Shady, Aftermath, Interscope, and all that, man. But it had the Vibrant Thing beat mixed backwards or something like that. It was fire. It had a sample of Vibrant Thing, and it was T Wayne, Wheezy, and T-Pain, and it was going, I'm so fly that I don't know why. I'm so fly that I don't. The joint just went hard, man. Back when Wayne was killing it, he was killing it. The Carter project drop, Wayne just like morphed into this other type of MC. Don't get me wrong, like Block is Hot Wayne was dope, and other ish that he had going on was dope and all that. But like, man, when the Carter drop and all the stuff, the lyrics, the flow. Remember, Gilly tried to tell us like that was all him and everything. Like, Gilly, how the fuck Wayne kept doing it after you were gone, man? And then now he retracts everything because I guess Birdman broke him off a check, or Birdman broke him off with some scaring the fuck out of him or something. I don't know. But for real, thoughts and prayers out to Gilly, man, as you see the death of his son has come back out in the news. You know what I'm saying? With that recent episode of Club Shay Shay and the whole Noah Scurry / Joker story. That is just crazy, man. Young man had a double life, felt he had to go out there and catch bodies to live the life that he would, like, he had a promise of future. It's nuts, man. And R.I.P. to Cheese and to Noah Scurry, man. But I'm rambling on a bit. Y'all got it all in there. Let's talk about it all in the comments. Subscribe, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace and God bless.